Creek, gonna see her about the middle of the week. Kiss her on the mouth just as sweet as any wine. Wraps herself around me like a sweet potato.
Once again, the Leadership Program's Director of Social and Emotional Learning posted a vlog that got me thinking. Now, before you go saying that I'm some kind of Christopher Williams fanboy, do go check it out yourself. See? Pretty great, right? So after watching Christopher's video, I thought back to my own experience with termination. In fact, as the experience was with my own therapist, it truly was the clinical definition, literally and figuratively, of termination. As mentioned in a previous vlog of my own, about 7 years ago I started seeing a therapist. Dr. B was my kind of shrink, a no-nonsense Russian woman who had no qualms about calling me out on my BS. We met once a week for 45 minutes. The conversations often bounced around from discussing work, family, relationships, you name it. Whatever was on my mind was fair game for discussion. Even when I showed up thinking I had nothing to say, she quickly teased out what was really on my mind. Dr. B was pretty awesome. In the late winter of 2013, Dr. B informed me that she was planning on closing her Manhattan office in order to focus more on her clinical work in Brooklyn. And while I was welcome to follow her across the river and continue our sessions, Dr. B also felt that we may have reached a point where the sessions were no longer needed. After 6 years of working together, our work might, for the moment, be done. I agreed that this was the next logical step, and we committed to winding down our work together. We now had a little over 2 months left in which to close out our work together. But for several weeks after that, the subject was never broached. I assumed I wasn't bringing it up because I just didn't think termination was that big a deal. Besides, wasn't it a topic we could easily cover in our last session? But as that 2 months left became 1 month left, I realized I was in fact avoiding the conversation. Termination was proving to be a scary concept. I thought of Dr. B as a kind of psychic safety net. Now, in just 4 more weeks, I'd be out on my mental tightrope with nothing between me and a nasty fall. True to form, Dr. B picked up on this reticence of mine and started to push me towards examining this fear. We turned our conversation to reflecting on the past and envisioning my future following the end of our work together. And like Christopher said in his vlog, Dr. B made sure not only to affirm the progress that I had made, but to also relate to me the impact our relationship had had on her as well. Our relationship had not been a one-way street. We had both grown through our weekly sessions. With the end of the spring came the end of my time with Dr. B. And as much as I miss our weekly check-ins, I know she was right and that it was time to move on. Additionally, going through an extended termination process was, as Christopher's blog pointed out, exceptionally important to closing out our work together. The time spent reflecting in our work showed me that I wasn't without a net. In fact, I was my own net. 6 weeks, the window of time Christopher mentioned we should begin planning how to close out with our students, may seem like a lot, but don't think of it as time with your students lost. Quite the opposite. Think of it as valuable time spent solidifying the work you've already done.